From many places we have come. We have come to the sacred space called by loss. We gather this day seeking solace from the sting of grief and the bittersweetness of memory. Holy and eternal, we awaken to the sun's glory of light, praising you in the morning. You are the blue dome above and the limitless sky beyond. You are the warmth that embraces Mother Earth, the rain that quenches her thirst, giving renewal of life to all her children. You are the brightness of sunlit leaves, the congregation of great rocks, strength-giving, among which we stand steadfast. You are the stillness in the mountains, the corresponding stillness in each of us, deeper than all stirrings of self. You are the mesa and cliffs where birds dart and sing. You are the wings, the singer and the song. You are the listening world. Your signature is the beauty of things. On behalf of Carol Ann's family, it is my honor to welcome each and all to this service. In this holy place, if you would be sure, if you haven't already, please silence your cell phones. We are here today to celebrate the life of Carol Ann Clem-Cronon, because even though we sit in the presence of great loss and are saddened by what we face, we are nevertheless assured that there is a spirit alive in the world over which death has no dominion, a light which no darkness can extinguish. Carol Ann was an embodiment of that light. We gather now to listen, to grieve, and to reflect on Carol Ann's life. Most of all, we are here today to pay tribute to her spirit and to give thanks for all the gifts of life, which, because of her, we have been the recipients. We gather also in the hope that in this time of her death, Carol Ann might strengthen our hold on life. And now I will invite Hillary Cronin to come up and light the chalice.
We light this chalice, which transforms wax into pure light and warmth, to remind us of our own living, transforming the stuff of this world into the love and activity of our daily lives. As we remember Carol Ann, may today bring forth transformation in ourselves, from grief, healing, from memory, wholeness, and from celebration, love.
I now invite Carl Clem up to the lectern to offer a reading.
On the death of the beloved Carol Ann, a blessing and funeral poem by John O'Donohue. Though we need to weep your loss, you dwell in that safe place in our hearts where no storm or night or pain can reach you. Your love was like the dawn, brightening over our lives, awakening beneath the dark, a further adventure of color. The sound of your voice found for us a new music that brightened everything. Whatever you enfolded in your gaze quickened in the joy of its being. You placed smiles like flowers on the altar of the heart. Your mind always sparkled with wonders at things. Though your days here were brief, your spirit was alive, awake, complete. We looked toward each other no longer from the old distance of our names. Now you dwell inside the rhythm of breath, as close to us as we are to ourselves. Though we cannot see you with outward eyes, we know our soul's gaze is upon your face, smiling back at us from within, everything to which we bring our best refinement. Let us not look for you only in memory, where we would grow lonely without you. You would want us to find you in presence, beside us, when beauty brightens, when kindness glows, and music echoes eternal tones. When orchids brighten the earth, darkest winter has turned to spring. May this dark grief flower with hope in every heart that loves you. May you continue to inspire us to enter each day with a generous heart, to serve the call of courage and love. Until we see your beautiful face again in that land where there is no more separation, where all tears will be wiped from our minds, and where we will never lose you again.
Carol Ann Clem-Cronon was born at Winchester Hospital on January 20th, 1958, to parents Grace and Carl, both of whom were school teachers. Grace and Carl were overjoyed to welcome Carol Ann to the family, as they had been waiting for another child to arrive since the birth of Carol Ann's brother, Carl Jr., 12 years earlier. As a child, Carol Ann enjoyed playing school with her friends in the basement where she was the teacher, just like her mother, Grace, who taught first grade. Carol Ann was the apple of her father's eye and close with her mom. With both parents being teachers, they had summers off and spent those months at a small cottage on the Cape in Falmouth. Carol Ann had a happy childhood. She looked up to her brother, Carl, and had some wonderful neighborhood friends. In her early teen years, Carol Ann developed a close relationship with her cousin Judy. Together, they spent many summers with wild adventures. Because her dad and her brother were avid tennis players, she spent a lot of time with them on the court and grew into being a very good tennis player. Grace introduced her children to all sorts of new things. One summer, it was the Cape Cod Theater Group, which put on plays every year. Carol Ann attended the play every summer from 1969 until last summer. In high school and college, her parents let Carol Ann have her cousin Judy and another friend spend entire summers with them at the cottage in Falmouth. Because the girls took so long getting ready to go out, Grace enforced a reverse curfew. In other words, they didn't have to be back by a certain time, but if they were going out, they had to be out by 10 o'clock. In addition to being an excellent student, Carol Ann was also outgoing and spunky. While still in high school, she was known to attend some frat parties at MIT. And after high school, she attended Mount Holyoke College, which had one of the most beautiful campuses she had ever seen. She majored in psychology and graduated in 1979 with a perfect 4.0 grade point average. While Carol Ann had mixed feelings about attending an all-women's college, she met some of her closest friends there and discovered she had no trouble meeting men. After graduating, Carol Ann worked as an assistant and then associate director of admissions at Boston College, a job she truly loved. She then attended Northwestern University's business school, where she earned a master's degree with a concentration in marketing in 1983. True to form, Carol Ann both excelled as a student and had an active social life, even during graduate school. A business school friend shared how they couldn't understand how Carol Ann was going to all these parties and still getting A's. Carol Ann met her husband-to-be, Bob Cronon, during the summer where they were both marketing interns at General Mills in Minneapolis. Carol Ann worked on ready-to-spread frosting, and Bob on Chef Saludo frozen pizza. Fortunately, they were more interested in each other than in the products. Bob's mother often said he should take anyone he was thinking of marrying on a long camping trip to see if they were truly compatible. But Bob and Carol, they kicked it up a notch, and they embarked on a 9-week overseas adventure before deciding, yes, we are indeed compatible. They bought a house together in Melrose in 1985, got married in Falmouth in 1986, and moved to Winchester in 1989. During their first year in Winchester, they welcomed their first child, Kristen. And a few years later, Carly was born in 1992. Carol Ann was especially overjoyed to have daughters, partly because she and her mother Grace were unusually close. Carol Ann was a devoted mother and did many things with her daughters. Kristen recalls one summer when she wanted to take a Shakespeare classes in Falmouth. Carol Ann drove to Falmouth every Saturday, waited 5 hours for the class to finish, and then drove Kristen home. Carol Ann was also a loving dog mother. When the vet told them that their last dog only had 3 months to live, with Carol Ann's tender, loving care, that dog lived 5 more years. She loved that dog so much and brought it with her everywhere she went. She put the dog in a little seat on the back of her bike with goggles to protect its eyes. She tucked the dog into a bag so she could sneak it into restaurants that did not allow dogs. Carol Ann had many interests that brought her joy. She loved to travel, to bike, cross-country ski, to dance, to wander through gardens, walk in nature, and pause for beautiful sunsets. She also had a wonderful organized streak, right down to her spices, each one carefully labeled and arranged in alphabetical order. The A-plus student and consultant in her was always present. She took notes on everything, and so at a restaurant, you might hear her gently reminding Bob, no, you ordered that in 2017 and you didn't like it. Carol Ann and Bob shared a wonderfully strong relationship, one they both tended to with intention and love. Over the years, after business school, Carol Ann built a career as a marketing consultant and eventually founded her own consulting company in 1987. Bob joined her in the work in 1994, and together they became a true team, serving small businesses, educational institutions, and nonprofit organizations. They complemented each other so beautifully, both in life and in the work they cared so deeply about. Later in life, one of the most meaningful changes is when Carol Ann's mom, Grace, came to live with them for the last 14 years of her life. Bob admits he was a bit hesitant at first. Having Grace under the same roof while raising two young children felt like a lot. But he quickly discovered how truly special those years were. Welcoming Grace into their home opened his heart to doing the same for his own mother one day. As Bob put it, what we did for Carol Ann's mom showed me what to do. You show up for the people you love. Bob continued to say, I view Carol Ann as my greatest teacher of love. I come from a very loving family. I saw her in action, loving me, loving our children, loving her mom, loving that crazy dog of hers. And I saw her setting this really great example of how to love. And I am so lucky to have been married to her. Bob and Carol Ann had a special way of moving through life in harmony. They often wore matching outfits, and not on purpose. They were wonderful dancers. Of course, they danced at weddings, but they also danced at gatherings where no dancing was planned. If a song came on, they were up and moving. Even in her final year while living with cancer, Carol Ann found strength and joy in dancing. Though she was often tired and in pain, she danced whenever she could. She even made it out to the dance floor just a couple of weeks before she went into the hospital for the last time. It was simply who she was, someone who kept choosing joy, movement, and love for as long as she possibly could. More than anything, Carol Ann cherished the time she spent with family and friends. Her love for them was deep, powerful, and enduring. Carol Ann was spunky and full of enthusiasm, radiating cheer both in her spirit and in the way she dressed. She listened with tender patience, cared with a full heart, and lived as a devoted wife, mother, and friend, a truly good human being. Carol Ann Clem-Cronon passed away on November 12th, surrounded by the family she loved so deeply. She was loved, she is loved, and she will be dearly missed by all who are blessed to know her. Let us now enter into a moment of holy silence so we may each welcome our own memories of Carol Ann into this sacred space. I now invite Toni Wegner to come up to the lectern to offer her personal reflections of Carol Ann.
Thank you. I'm Toni Wegner. I met Carol Ann 22 years ago in this church, and was with her as part of the renowned parent group. I wrote a poem with the help of ChatGPT for Carol Ann, based on my last conversation with her while she was in the hospital And I think you're going to start to recognize some themes. For Carol Ann, with love and gratitude. We met in a small group that became parent group, and soon you became my person, the one I could tell my whole story to and know I'd be heard. You've always listened with that quiet grace, the kind that holds space and asks the questions that open new doors. You write things down, you remember every date, each birthday, each like and dislike, ready to recall at just the right time. I loved when you'd slip into church beside me, a little late, tearing up at the words that touched your heart. And birthdays, you and Bob singing in harmony, such joy, such love. You brought me to Falmouth, your mother's Cape House, where the sky was bright and the waves danced on the beach. We walked and biked and breathed salt air, sharing with me the place you loved the most. Even on cold, windy beaches with wine and too many snacks, we were warmed by friendship. I remember Boo with goggles and inner tube on the back of your bike, quite the sight. And Grace, dear Grace, sweet, gentle, feisty, fun. So much of her in you. I'm grateful for those summers on the Cape, pandemic meals shared on the deck, for tennis, bocce, and ping pong. You are mighty and fierce, never to be underestimated. You taught with passion, Harvard Extension's lucky students. You worked with purpose for causes you believed in, living your values as easily as breathing. You cared for your mother in your home. You cared for the earth, native plants, pollinators, bees, and the home you built, sustainable and strong, your legacy. The limericks, the laughter, the rides to Connecticut College, the care you gave when Dan was ill and after, when you simply stayed. You opened your Winchester home to me and Willie, welcoming us for the summer while you were away. You cheered my children, celebrated their highs, soothed their lows, always present, always kind. Your love with Bob, true, unwavering, joyful, is one of the purest things I've ever known. And the daughters you've raised shine in your image, curious, compassionate, and strong. Carol Ann, with your optimism and positivity, you are a keeper of stories, a maker of meaning, a builder of home and heart, a true friend. In every season of my life, you have been a blessing. Thanks for being you, fully, fiercely, wonderfully you.
Let us now turn our hearts and minds to an Irish blessing sung by Judy Doherty.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind
Truly lovely. Thank you. I invite Carrie Campbell to come up to the lectern to offer her personal reflections of Carol Ann.
I know Carol Ann would be smiling right now if she saw me holding these balloons. I'll tell you my balloon story in just a bit, but let me first introduce myself. I'm Carrie Campbell. Carol Ann and I met 45 years ago in Boston after college. We met through friends of friends. Back in 1980, there were no cell phones, no text threads. Yet word would still somehow spread to gather after work at the happy hour du jour or to go disco dancing. It was during one of these organized group gatherings when Carol Ann and I first clicked. We were seated across from each other at a Szechuan restaurant in Central Square. I had just swallowed an especially spicy biteful, and my eyes were watering. I glanced up across the table at Carol Ann, and she was looking at me with tears in her piercing blue eyes, too. We both started laughing. You know Carol Ann's infectious, high-pitched laugh that some call a cackle. We connected in that very moment. A year or so later, Carol Ann left her position as an admissions director at BC to go to Kellogg Business School in Northwestern, outside Chicago. I told her to look up my friend, Mike Shield, who'd be there at the same time. She did, and our circle of friends continued to intertwine. Mike came from Chicago today to be here. As a timestamp, and we were given a nice one in the eulogy, Carol Ann met Bob during that summer between her 2 years in business school when Bob, who was at Stanford, also landed a Plum brand marketing internship at General Mills in Minneapolis. Now back to these balloons. After business school, Carol Ann returned to Boston and worked for a strategic marketing firm. She launched her own marketing company, Clem Associates, 2 years later to become Clem-Cronon Associates. And I brought her balloons to celebrate her big, bold career move. I knew she was touched. She thanked me profusely, as she would do. And I didn't think about those balloons again until much later, when I was hanging out with Carol Ann in Winchester. We were upstairs in her third floor office, and I noticed a pile of shriveled up balloons and a heap of ribbons on a shelf. Hey, are those the balloons I gave you a few years ago? Yep, Carol Ann replied. I saved them. They make me smile. Since the balloons were such a hit, I gave Carol Ann balloons on a handful of other special occasions over the years. I was reminded last night that she also sent me balloons, a big bouquet of balloons, to work to celebrate me at one time. Even though balloons became an environmental no-no, and we all know Carol Ann was green way before the rest of us were, I guess balloons kind of stayed our thing. And let me get to the point of this balloon story. The sappy way that Carol Ann saved those deflated balloons I had given her, or even the quirky way she saved some of her favorite things before tucking them away in cabinets, was rooted in how sentimental Carol Ann really was. I'm guessing the act of her labeling her margarita glasses likely reminded Carol Ann of good times sipping margaritas and dancing with Bob in San Miguel Square, and sparked a hope for a similar fun experience when she pulled those glasses out again. Carol Ann was a softie. She cherished her favorite people, places, and things. I appreciated the special rituals she extended to the cherished people in her life, and I know others here appreciated them too. We've heard some of them. Calling every year to sing happy birthday with Bob harmonizing. Ensuring sunsets in Falmouth, were her most cherished place, were savored. And sharing the hit parade of all her beloved spots in the Heights and Woods Hole. Some of Carol Ann's most cherished things at her beloved Falmouth home included her blue bottle collection on the windowsill, mementos from travels hanging on the walls, ping pong table in the dining room, Grace's croquet set placed prominently by the fireplace, vase of fresh flowers on the new kitchen island counter, and well-researched native plants in the yard. I've come to understand that Carol Ann's sweet, sentimental streak contributed to her amazing emotional strength this past really tough year. We all make a choice to how we will deal with adversity in our lives. Carol Ann chose to relish who and what she cherished and stayed focused on the positive. I will sorely miss Carol Ann, but I can also smile standing here, warmed by thinking of her smiling back at me as I bring her balloons to celebrate her life with all of you. I need to say that Bill Friedman, who was going to follow me, unfortunately at the last minute could not be here today, so he will share his words with the family. And he shared a lot of them last night. A small group of us got together, so I just wanted to make that change in the program.
Please open your gray hymnal to hymn number 346. Let us rise in body or in spirit and join in singing, "Come Sing a Song with Me." I now invite Clem-Cronon to come up to the lectern to offer her personal reflections of her mother.
One day, I came home to find Mom had redecorated my bedroom with new sheets, comforter, and throw pillows, blue, of course. Just a random school night surprise to delight me. Where she found time to do that, on top of running her own marketing business at home, taking care of her mom, Grace, who lived with us, showing up for her friends, volunteering with utmost attention to detail, attending all possible extracurricular events of Kristen and mine, and being willing to drive us and our friends wherever and gain an easy affection with them too, I'll never understand. She was like a magician of motherly love, magician of endless patience, guidance, trust, respect, friendship, acceptance, and curiosity. She somehow treated me simultaneously as a respected, independent peer and swaddled child, with both an unending fountain of love and clear moral guidance that was always kind and understanding. "Thank you for telling me," she'd say if I broke something. Many of you in this room can probably relate to the unique Carol Annism of giving full and undivided attention, probing questions, and unrelenting interest in any and all goings-on in our lives, however large or small. What a listener she was, not missing a single word. In fact, unwilling to miss a single word of any story, however mundane. "Wait!" she'd call if she had to step out to go to the bathroom down the hall. "What are you saying? I want to hear this." We started to joke that we promised we wouldn't say anything until she got back. It's hard to fully capture the feeling of her always being interested and alongside you, whatever you do, like light as air scaffolding that is supportive, inquisitive, trusting, empowering, and just plain fun. I feel heartbroken beyond expression, but I also feel a strong need to try to call out from the rooftops my love, admiration, and gratitude. There's nothing I envisioned more frequently and more fondly than continuing to go through life together, side by side. And I know she already gave me all the lessons I could ever need and more love than can be contained in a lifetime, however long. Truly, it floweth over. I take some comfort in thinking of her like a hummingbird, full of energy and life vibrations. Or maybe like a golden retriever, like her precious first dog, Kasha, her firstborn, she would say. Radiating through life, full of joy and love, pep and enthusiasm. Nothing done halfway. Fully living up to the line from our much-loved Sound of Music when Maria sings, "When you wake up, wake up!" Mama, thank you, and I hope you know how we honor your beautiful, full life. We will continue to feel and reciprocate, and as best we can, continue the thread, the waterfall, the sunshine of your all-encompassing love. Many of you know that my husband is in Pakistan and unable to be here today. He shared a recording with us that I would love to share next. Thank you, Jay.
When I think of Carol Ann, I think of the hummingbirds that love the flowers from the native plants she planted. Oh, the native plants, 40 of them, or maybe more, meticulously planned over the course of 2 years, or maybe more, and planted in a day last summer, or was it the summer before? See, my memory is already hazy. Hers was not. She remembered things, made sure to remember things. Birthdays, half-birthdays, our anniversaries, what each of us liked at a particular restaurant that we went to 5 years back. She was meticulous, caring, and loving in a genuine way that just can't be faked. When I went to the Cape House for the first time, I found a slip of paper with my name written on it a bunch of times. Turns out, Carol Ann had been practicing my name to make sure she got it right whenever she met me. This was before she had met me, and that kind of attention to making sure I always felt included never stopped. And I always did feel included, that I belonged to her family, to her beautiful home. I have a hard time thinking that I won't see her again. At the same time, I'm grateful to have experienced the love of not one, but two moms, my own and Carly's.
Thank you, Carly, and for the extra remembrance. I invite Deb Nelson to come up to the lectern to offer her personal reflections of Carol Ann.
Carol Ann, how do I sum up that force of light and laughter wrapped in a rather small package with sparkling blue eyes? Putting these thoughts together this past week, it was hard. There was one night I sat in the dark with tears streaming down my face. I thought, Carol Ann, where are you? I'm going to say some of the most important words of my life. Where are you to help me find the words? Recently, Bob asked me, he said, Debbie, how would you describe Carol Ann? I started to answer when Carol Ann blurted out, big mouth. Oh, we did. We laughed, just like you. I said to her, well, that's not exactly what I was going to say. I would reframe the words big and mouth to strong voice. So strong voice is one of the most important ways I would sum up my dear friend, Carol Ann. My college roommate, 3 times at least at Mount Holyoke and Dartmouth College, my friend of 50 years, my very best friend of my lifetime. So, strong voice. What would that strong voice want me to say to all of you? Well, for sure, she would tell me to talk from my heart and not my head. And she, I think, would want me to tell you she thought I was very funny. And I thought she was. We laughed at everything from, if we have lunch on Monday, that does not mean you get out of taking me for a very expensive birthday lunch next week. Or, I could not possibly meet you before 12:22 for a walk. And she would say, well, I can't get there before 12:28, but okay, fine. If I hurry, I will make it at 12:26. We made each other feel so funny and so special in big moments and small. Now, her strong voice urged her loved ones to be confident. So I want to say, Kristen and Carly, one of her biggest wishes was that you, her daughters, would be strong, confident women. She wanted her friends and colleagues and her students to be confident too, all of us, in what we undertake in life. That strong voice could be sassy. Recently, visiting her and her family at the Brigham Hospital, I said, oh, shit. Can we back up the mic for a second? I said, Carol Ann, I wish I could have been half as there for you as you were there for me. You were always there for me. And she said, I still am. I'm still here. I did not get away with anything with your mother, your wife. You've heard from others that Carol Ann listened deeply, so what mattered to me mattered to her. She showed it through the text that said, I know your daughter Vani will hear about her college early decision in exactly 74 minutes. Call me. Call me. Or the phone call. I know you had a health appointment yesterday. I thought of you all day. How are you? Or, how is your daughter Lynn's ever so clever college essay about pickleball? Is she feeling happy about it? So she was not a superficial listener. If my updates were too short, she would be like, detail. Now, I loved that I could be myself with her, to tell her when I've been unsure or when I've made mistakes. I have got to tell you, I have brought her a pile of doozies over the years. One time I said something horrible to a loved one. It flew out of my mouth. I don't know where it came from. So I told Carol Ann in all my shame, and she held that moment with me. She said, yeah, we can all do things like that. You balled up. I know you wish you could do it differently. Don't be hard on yourself. You're a good person who made a misstep. What can you do? You've got to do the best you can to fix it. And, she said, I love you. No judgment, but honesty, support, and a strong belief in me. What else? A flood of vignettes come to mind. You've heard she loved to label things. Labels everywhere. Cupboards, drawers, containers, labels all written in that squiggly hand. Now, Bob, a word. I know you had some concerns. She thought you were a little bit messy. But you have to consider the source. This was someone who labeled everything. And she loved to take notes. In those last few days, I sat with Carol and Bob. I started to share how much she meant to me. And she took out her notepad. I said, oh, honey, you don't need to take notes. But she could be a bit sassy. She said, Bob, you take notes while Debbie talks. Right? This happened. You take notes. I told them both, you don't need to. I will write it down for you. But both of you, you already know. You already know what I'm going to say because it's right here already. So, oh man, she loved her family. How she loved sharing with me the joys of Kristen's travels and her spiritual journey. How happy she was to have Carly and Zulkarn and Mary in her backyard. And Bob, her soulmate of steadiness. She had such big love for her forever family. She and Bob would sometimes watch our mini schnauzer. You may have seen him on the pictures when we went on vacation. They would watch. Now, there was some unclarity in the feeding instructions, and wanting to be good caretakers, she and Bob kept filling and filling the kibble bowl. They hand-fed him kibble. And when he was still not eating what they thought was the proper amount, by God, she got down on all fours to role model eating behavior, right, for my dog. Yeah, right? You're nodding. You recognize this is Carol Ann. And so when we came to pick Mo up, something that looked a little like a footstool waddled down the hall to meet us. And we all laughed and laughed, because that was Carol Ann. She wanted to do a good job. So speaking of Mo, it was kind of an ordeal for us to arrange to get him down to Falmouth. But whether it was about Mo or I just wanted to plan to meet her or come visit, have lunch, she was always fretting about the traffic I might encounter. What was it about the traffic? I never figured it out. But she's not here. So I can tell you, I had to resort to subterfuge to arrange visits with her. Even to the hospital in those last days, I would have to say to her, Carol Ann, I'm going to be in your area on Monday. How does that look for you? And if that doesn't work, I can be in your area Tuesday or Wednesday. I think she saw through my ploys, but they seemed to take the focus off that traffic talk. All right, you've heard about the birthday calls, singing in that distinctive, wavery, heartfelt voice, marking every one of not my birthdays, but my children's and my wife's birthdays as well. I'm going to miss that unique voice. In our college years, I started to call her Cackleberry. Cackleberry Clem, I called her, and she took on that mantle of Cackleberry proudly. I was very happy she didn't take offense. She would sign texts, "Your loving Cackleberry." I even got a voicemail in just late October, and it said, "Hi, Deb, this is Cackleberry," and she dissolved into laughter and went on to something I couldn't make any sense of it, but she was Cackleberry. So one last memory. We shared our freshman writing class together in college. I forget who, but one of us had written a paper that received great feedback from our professor, who was already a noted, famous author. I think I wrote the paper. She thinks she wrote the paper. Regardless, we were both wicked pleased. Wicked pleased. So we created this expression, "Good job, well done." And you had to do it like that. Good job, well done. It was our signature way of celebrating ourselves and our family's accomplishments. So, on Jericho Path in Falmouth, by the ocean, and on the land that had been the site of many happy summers with her parents, her brother, her cousin, and friends, she and Bob built a home of light with many whites and especially blues, a home of many labels. She told me many times Falmouth, where she lived so happily, was her heart home. In the end, well, she did not get to go home to Falmouth, to her heart home there. But you know what? She didn't need to, because her heart home was in that hospital room. It was right there. She was surrounded by what she cherished best, friends and family, sharing remembrances, snuggles, Halloween cookies, laughter, Christmas carols, camp songs, hymns, harmonies, Zulkarnain's calls, Kristen singing songs she wrote accompanied by her ukulele, and Carly saying, "We're all here, Mama. We're all here." I gave Carol Ann a little ceramic dog vase, which came in a box that said, "You will never walk alone." I meant it for her to know she will never walk alone, but she would want me to know that I will never walk alone either. And I won't, because her strong voice is with me. Her wise and funny words, her love of life, her making me feel special. I lost my dearest friend, but because of what she gave to me, I will never walk alone. Now, as awkward as it might be, I think she would be so happy for each of us to confidently tell ourselves, good job, well done. You can try it. Good job, well done. You have to do it like that, 2 pats on each shoulder. Most of you are good. Anyway, you know, that is how she lives on, with that good job, well done. And so, to Carol Ann, dear one, to whom I and we have such gratitude, I say, such a good job. So well done. Thank you.
Let us now turn our hearts and minds to a song written by Clem-Cronon for her mother.
So I can't tell you how special it is to be in this sanctuary that we came to as kids. And I just saw that some of my very oldest friends are here. And being here reminds me of one of my favorite parts of services as a kid, were the children's story, where the young people and the young at heart would be invited to come to the very front and sit on the floor. So I have a optional invitation that those of you, the young people and the young at heart, are very welcome to come join me on the floor for a song. When I was so small, you were there for every fall. Somehow the hands of your heart seem to reach however far it takes. It takes to hold me wherever I may be, and I'll be forever warmer for your love. Thank you for teaching me how to love. Thank you for bringing me here from the stars above. However dark the night grows, I can feel my mother's arms. Rivers to the ocean of your love. However far away my song, you could hear me all along. Somehow your eyes, so wise, could see however far it takes to shine on me wherever I may be, and I'll shine forever brighter for your love. Thank you for teaching me how to love. Thank you for bringing me here from the stars above. However dark the night grows, I can feel my mother's arms. Rivers to the ocean of your love. Rivers to the ocean of your love. Thank you.
So much love, so much care, so much joy that Carol Ann brought into our lives and is in this room. Thank you all who spoke and shared and sang. Let us now into a spirit of prayer. Eternal love which rests in the spirit of all, we are everlastingly grateful for the company of those who, having walked with us in this life, who have gone before us into the world of light. We are surrounded by a mighty cloud of witnesses, saints and prophets, aged men and gracious women, and little children, all those most dear who, though they be invisible to our outward eye, yet speak within our hearts of truth, love, and peace. We are especially thankful for Carol Ann. We give thanks for all those secret, mysterious completions of life that are beyond our understanding, but witnessed by the unending love of the universe. Carol Ann's service to others in private, her petitions for support and comfort, the cry of her soul in pain and in joy, and the benediction of peace which has come at last. May Carol Ann now rest in peace and be held in the eternal arms of love. For her eyes have seen a glory, her heart has known love, and her life has been and will always remain a blessing. May we hold Carol Ann in our hearts and minds as we grieve, as we smile, as we laugh at the memory of love she shared with the world, as we honor and celebrate her life. Amen. We will close our service today with a benediction and extinguishing the chalice, followed by a recessional. Please join the family in the reception hall downstairs Metcalf Hall, which is located down the set of stairs outside of those doors. If the stairs are difficult for you, please speak to someone who is wearing a name badge for an alternative way to access the reception. May the light of love guide you in your coming in and your going out. May we honor the life of Carol Ann Clem-Cronon by living more fully, more joyously, and more compassionately. As you leave this sanctuary of memory and hope, go in peace. And may all that is good and holy in this world be with you and bless you now and always.
Who will set your soul free? It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone and celebrate all our mistakes if there's a silver lining. You still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. I see who you are, you're just like me. I see you're searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are, I'm just like you. I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying, when it gets frightening. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone is nature. Everyone is God. Everyone is love and light and vibration. Look for the good. Look for the good. Everyone gets mad sometimes and maybe they should. Look for the good. Look for the good. Yeah, look out for all the heroes in your neighborhood. Look for the good. Look for the good. Life sure would be sweeter if everybody was